Single Wednesday, I come to you to share some really important concepts about money, life, and everything else, I always say. And I feel like this topic tonight is very relevant and timely. All my topics are usually very relevant and timely because if you've been watching the news, you will see that rates have gone up for mortgages and so much is happening in the industry right now. And of course, in the market, so people are panicking. I know one of my friends who are on tonight saying that she's been receiving calls all day because of sudden changes in the industry. So tonight our topic is your mortgage options matter. Why does it matter? Because we know the American dream of homeownership is the ultimate dream. You know, people everywhere in this country are always looking to purchase a home because of the fact that when you have a home, it does make a difference long-term, short-term, and long-term. But very few people are able to buy a home without financing. Most likely, if you're looking to be a homeowner, you have to go to a lender, a mortgage officer, to talk about your qualifications to see if you are qualified for a mortgage. So tonight, we're gonna let you know about some of the opportunities, but also some of the pitfalls that you need to avoid and stay clear of. So without further ado, I would like to welcome my friends who are on tonight. We have returning friends, and I'm excited to have them all here tonight. So why don't we introduce first our mortgage broker who's online right now, and that's Fabi. Fabi, why don't you say hello and let people know how you help families when it's time to purchase a home?
So my name is Fabiola. I have a real estate brokerage. I help people find a home, sell a home, and a little bit of property management. I have a team of about 9 agents. So we're like a boutique office. And we also do a lot in the community. So we're trying to be in the community and also help the community create more generational wealth through real estate.
Yeah, that's an important goal. And I'm so glad. And also, we just want to congratulate you again. You are in the Providence Journal, is the
Providence Business Journal.
Business Journal. And I posted that, I reposted that on our page here. So please show some love, say, click like and share. Because you're doing amazing things and I'm very glad that we've been able to connect. So why don't we go to our mortgage officer and Renee, you've been here before, but please let people know how you help families when they're ready to purchase a home.
Well, hi everyone. It's a pleasure to be back. My name is Renee Owens. I am the Vice President of Community Lending at the Cooperative Bank, and we're located in Boston at 40 Belgrade Ave in Rosendale. My job is to help people get the dream of home ownership. We try to walk them through the process and hold their hand through everything. I teach first-time homebuyer classes with all the nonprofits in the city. And we also offer a number of first-time homebuyer products to help facilitate purchasing a home. Yes. We also work with a number of entities who have funding available to help people purchase. There's down payment assistance, there's closing cost assistance. There's also lotteries out there that people can apply for. So we offer a full range of services.
Yes, and we're gonna dive into that a little bit deeper, on the show tonight. Mm-hmm. So yes, we have a friend we haven't seen here in a while. Welcome back, Miss Melissa. You know you are important to this community here. So how have you been? And Melissa is a homeowner, so yes, and she wanted to be part of this show today.
Oh, definitely, because I also have questions myself, hopefully that can have answered. I purchased a multifamily in 2019. I've done the renovations on my mother's home and helped her to purchase her home as well 2 years ago. So I'm really excited to be on this show and also have a few of my questions answered as well.
Yes, I'm excited because for those who have known me for a while, they know that once upon a time, I had a mortgage company called Green Line Mortgage. And I used to do a show online called Let's Talk Mortgage. So tonight we're gonna be talking mortgage. So I know that based on my past experiences, right, experience with the industry, when folks are ready to buy a home, and you remember that, Lisa and myself, you know, they go to you, Fabi. Can you tell us, you know, like for some folks who are still like wondering, what's usually the sentiment or the spirit when an individual or a family is ready to purchase a home?
Usually, people get really motivated to buy a home when their landlord raised their rent.
Mhm.
And they come running like, I can't believe they just raised my rent this amount. And they come running and they say, hey, I want to buy a house. What do I do? And usually the first thing I ask them a few questions just to kind of like pre-qualify, although I'm not a mortgage person. I ask them what's their credit score. I ask them how long have they been at their job? Have they been at their job for at least 2 years within the same profession? And just to kind of help, okay, so this is a very basic step. First, you need to get your credit ready. And then second, the third question I ask is, do you have any money saved up? Because although there is 100% financing, different programs going on, there's still some out-of-pocket costs that they're gonna have to come up with. So usually I gauge where they are at in the process.
Mhm.
And then if they're ready to speak to a mortgage person, then I recommend them to a mortgage person. If they need help, a little bit of help with their credit and some help just getting motivated, we actually have someone on our team that does credit classes all the time. So like if credit is a problem, I say, okay, speak to one of our agent. Her name is Crystal. She could probably help you and keep you motivated into getting credit ready. And if you need to save money, we put you up in a system where we follow up like every 2-3 months. Okay, how are you doing? Did you save this amount, before we hand them off to a mortgage rep? But ideally, the first step is to speak to either a mortgage person, or most of the time you reach out to an agent first. And then a good agent will actually ask you questions to see where you are at in order to before they recommend you to a mortgage person.
Yeah, definitely. But once they're ready to speak to a mortgage officer, and I love the idea of you introducing them to other people, because we want to emphasize tonight that my objective for the show is that you who are watching know that it's so important to build a team to help you achieve this ultimate goal of home ownership. So Renee, you are the mortgage expert. Now someone's already had a conversation, excitement, I'm ready because I'm paying too much in rent, or, you know, I've been saving and this is a goal that I want to reach, and they're now ready to go to you. So I know the industry is huge. I've done some research with the Massachusetts Mortgage Business Association. They said that it's over $1 trillion, the industry. So many families cannot afford out of pocket. They have to get a mortgage. So what do you usually do? What is your first interaction typically look like? Your first interaction typically looks like when you are ready to sit down with a family or an individual to talk to them about that ultimate dream of homeownership through financing.
Okay, well, first I talk to everybody, whether people have taken a class or not. Sometimes I recommend that people take a first-time homebuyer class because it's very educational. And sometimes that's where they can build their team, because with the classes, an attorney will speak, a realtor will speak, like Fab, a lender, myself, maybe a home inspector. So you get your core team out of this class. And by getting that certificate, it allows them to be eligible for a number of first-time homebuyer mortgage products within the city or within the state. So typically after the class, we tell people, first thing, don't go online. Don't go online and look at these quick fix things that you see online. You need to meet in person with someone and just sit down and be brutally honest as to what your needs and wants are,
Mhm.
and go through your numbers, because you don't want someone like me who you're going to do just over the phone or just doing everything online to tell you that you qualify for one number and actually you qualify for something else.
Correct.
So my thing is, I don't want my customers out looking at $600,000 homes when their real number is 400. And even then, you want to make sure that when we're doing the numbers, that the customer knows what all those numbers are, what principal and interest payment is, what property taxes are, what
Mhm.
homeowners insurance is. And also some programs have private mortgage insurance.
Right.
Some people are looking at condos, so now there's an additional fee, which is a condo fee. So you want to have them look at everything and see what it all adds up to, and if they're comfortable with that payment at that purchase price.
Yeah, definitely. You do have to do your homework, but I'm glad you emphasizing this, that you don't want to do this. This is not the time to do it yourself.
No,
Right? This
absolutely
is not
not.
the time to do it yourself, because we were talking about it offline, that once upon a time, I don't know if it's still prevalent, but people were buying homes by themselves, like, sell by owners. And then you'll have tons of issues in the property because you're not a broker. You don't know what to even ask for. And it's likewise, if you're online, you're trying to get your mortgage by yourself or with someone who's so far away, you cannot interface with that person. You cannot see them eye to eye. All of a sudden, then you're getting into products and different mortgage programs that you really shouldn't be getting into. We've had firsthand experience with that. So, Melissa, young buyer, you and your spouse was ready, and were you guys were ready, and how did you go about to the, for someone who's watching, it's like, I would like to be a homeowner too. What were you thinking during that process?
Oh, a variety of things. I've always been interested in real estate, but even if you know absolutely nothing, do a little bit of research. Research people in your area, or decide where you want to live. Look at schools, look at a variety of things, that an area of where you want to live in. See the price point. Then also see what realtor might be in the area that has a reputation of being wonderful, also explaining things. Interview real estate agents. You don't always have to, just because you see one, you have to stay with them. I would say not to sign an exclusive contract until you feel like that's the right person for you. Also, they may recommend, once you feel comfortable, that person will probably work with a mortgage company or several also as well, for you to get a feel for which company you'd like to go with. And make sure that you feel good about it. You feel right about it. Continue to save, make sure that your credit score is good, like everybody was saying. But even if you don't know where to start, they will guide you. And with step by step, you'll be able to get to that point. I would say also figuring out what your budget is. If you haven't lived on a budget renting, you definitely want to try doing that, because there'll be different things that will arise once you buy the house. Oh, one other tip I would say is, let's just say you get through that whole entire process, you found a house you like, you've made an offer. Go back and see the house after you've made the offer. After the excitement goes down and all of that, go back and take a look with fresh eyes, even before you get to the inspection phase, to make sure that's really where, and visit the house during the day and at night, different things like that. Figuring out what amenities are there.
Yeah, I think that's important. So as a real estate broker, we see it on TV with the channel, is it HGTV, where they show someone going to see 3 properties and then they make a decision. But we know that's not accurate, right? Because typically your average buyer would go see multiple. I mean, how frustrating or how welcoming is that for you, Fabi, when it's time to go look for that property and you're like, okay, what do you want? What can you afford? And you have someone who's sending you, usually they find stuff online, they're sending you listing, and you know that it's outside of what they initially ask you for. How do you feel about all that?
So usually I tell people right off the bat, right now, it may take you a while to find a house. The market is hot right now. And I I set up a home buyer consultation to set the expectation of what they should expect.
Mhm.
So it's as formal as basically a home buyer workshop, but I do a buyer consultation, and I train the agents that you have to do a buyer consultation because you need to set the expectation that you're not going to look at 3 houses and fall in love with one and you put in an offer and that's it. That's not happening in this market. In this market, you're probably putting 10, 15 offers. You're
Mhm.
probably going over asking. You're probably doing things that you should not be doing. Like some people are waiving inspection. Like we have that conversation beforehand with our home buyers. So they're already educated on what to expect. So before they even go look at that first house, they know that, okay, so after I put in an offer, if my offer is accepted, the next step is the home inspection. Do you have your home inspector already? Do you know anything about the appraisal? Do you have any money or do you even want to cover the appraisal gap if there is some? So those are conversations that you should be having with your real estate agent beforehand, because right now it's really competitive. And the more prepared and educated you are beforehand, the better off you are. And as a agency, I advocate with all my agents, whether you're working, whatever agents you're working with, their job is to educate you on the process, because I think an educated consumer makes a better decision. And I always laugh because I always say to my clients, if I see you at the supermarket 6 months from now, I don't want to be running the other direction, because I know I did something that I should have not, or I got you into a house that you didn't even really want to be in. So just make sure, even like Mel said, it's important that you find the right realtor for you, because that person is representing your best interest. And then even like you said, Gabrielle, when you work with a lot of people don't realize, and some people think they will even save money if they work with the seller or if they work with the listing agent. But what they don't realize is the listing agent has an obligation to the seller to get them the highest and best price for that house. So when you're negotiating with the seller, you're telling them how much you love the pool and how you can see yourself here and envision this. You're just giving them more negotiating power. So, and as a buyer, when you have your own representation, that person literally have an obligation for you to have your best interest. So
yeah, you need to have someone, especially I know multiple angles here, have the neighborhood, like the community, the house itself, getting excited about that. But at the end of the day, you could have the best neighborhood, the best house, but if the money is funny, the financing that you got, if it wasn't right, you could be dealing with a nightmare that will last for decades. I know people have been dealing with that. So going back to you, Renee, we know not everybody gets approved. What exactly do you need? We've talked about it a little bit, but how often do folks get denied for loans? And especially in what's going on right now, earlier you said that some people you have already done a pre-approval for, and they have that piece of paper and they've been looking, and all of a sudden, because the rates have gone up, they no longer qualify for that amount. So what do you tell someone who's watching right now saying I want to buy a house, I cannot afford to pay out of pocket? How do I get the right pre-approval that I know it's gonna hold up for more than a couple weeks?
Well, right now, because the market is so volatile, what I've been telling my customers is be prepared. I may not have the best program in town, so they need to do their shopping, and it's best that they talk to more than one lender. And it's like an interview process, just like you do with the realtor. You want to talk to more than one lender. You want to find out who has certain programs that are going to best fit your needs. And the only way to do that is to meet with a lender. When you meet with the lenders, you need to be prepared. Standard preparation is the last 3 years of tax returns with the W-2s, and that's just your federal tax returns. 4 current pay stubs, 2 months of bank statements. You should have a list of your debts, which you pay out monthly: auto loans, student loans, personal loans, credit cards. And if you've completed a first-time homebuyer class, you should have your first-time homebuyer certificate. You should sit with someone and be realistic with the numbers and ask questions. Even if you think it's a dumb question, ask the question, because 99% of the time, it's not a dumb question.
Yeah, yeah. And I know it's not a dumb question, because when it comes to mortgages, like mortgage options, right?
Mhm.
So many different options.
Yes.
I've heard of the conventional and non-conventional. You're saying like nowadays, those have been out. But in Massachusetts, you cannot even do non-conventional loans anymore. But, can you share, what are some of the mortgage options that families have, those who are looking to purchase a home right now?
Okay, so right now, the most popular program is the MHP1 program, and there are 2 programs. The MHP1 program is a first-time home buyer program. Most first-time home buyer programs are going to have income cap requirements based on family size. And it could be also on county, what county you're purchasing in. This one comes with a discounted interest rate, no points, no PMI. Most lenders will also give you some kind of a credit. We give a $500 credit toward closing. It's a 3% down program. Of that 3%, the buyer is required to put 1.5% of their own funds from their bank account. All the rest could possibly be a gift, or it could be grant money. There are a lot of nonprofits that have down payment and closing cost assistance. And if they're eligible, they could also access those funds.
Yeah. Yeah, you do have a dog, I see. So that's good. Maybe you can help me a little bit, but is this you?
That's
No,
me.
I have two,
Sorry.
You have to, I know, Melissa. This is the fun thing about Zoom, right? Whether it's work Zoom or online Zoom meetings like this. I hope that we get to, maybe you can mute yourself with it.
I'm gonna mute.
And then, yeah. So we just want to reiterate again that tonight's topic is your mortgage options matter. Why does that, why does it matter that you select the right mortgage option for you? Because at the end of the day, yes, it's the ultimate dream to own a home, but moving forward with the wrong team, not trusting, not having the right team to help you with this very important life-changing transaction can be very detrimental to your health, detrimental to your finances, and detrimental to even your career. So it's very important that you do it right the first time. When you're about to own a home, when you are interested in owning a home, it's very important that you build a team around you, a team of great, a great real estate broker, a great mortgage officer, and also all the other people are going to be instrumental in helping you finalize that very transaction. So I would like to ask you, do you have any question? Actually, you said that you had a couple questions. Melissa, I want to give you the opportunity to do that.
Yes. How can you leverage your current home that may have accrued equity to purchase another home?
Yeah. So it's so funny. I had that question, like in terms of like refinancing, because after you purchase a home, if you did it right over time, and if the market is right, you ought to be able to have built equity and have enough cushion to maybe pull some cash out to do something else. I mean, there are a number of reasons why people would do a cash out refinancing, but obviously Melissa is interested in purchasing another home. So do you do that? Is your office, Renee? Is that something that you do? And also, Fabiola, you can talk about it. Like if someone comes to you and say, "Oh, I already have a home, I would like to buy an investment property." Do you discourage or encourage that? Go ahead, Renee. Renee first.
Go first, Renee.
Yeah.
Okay, so if someone comes in and they want to refinance and pull cash equity out to buy another property, We're gonna sit with them. I'd like to go over their whole finance and see kind of where they are and if really they can afford this. Because if they're gonna buy an investment, what if you don't get tenants? Can you carry both houses? So
Correct.
it's something that we truly look at. And we want to have that conversation. I mean, if somebody wants to do it and they qualify, I can't discourage, but I want to point things out because they need to be aware that they could be setting themselves up for failure.
Mhm.
But it has happened. I have had people do that. I just like to tell people, you know, you're pulling money out of the property where you lay your head at,
Mhm.
which if the investment property doesn't pull through, that means you not only lose one house, you lose two houses.
Correct.
So we look at it from different perspectives, just so that we put it on the table so people completely understand what they're putting themselves into.
Yeah. So you.
But it is something that I have done though.
Yeah. So you, it's really financial counseling, financial
Yes.
advising, where you sit down and have a conversation with them. What we know doing hot market, right? People saying like, "Oh my gosh, it's gonna be the end of time," right? Just like in 2005 and today as well. You go to an open house, you see 1 million people. I have a friend. I was saying that to you guys, ladies, earlier, that she's been looking for a home, and after a while, she got exhausted because everywhere she would go, there'll be 1 million people, and they'll outbid every time by like and overpay, right? So what do you do with someone who has equity now? Because the equity, most folks have equity now, right? But we don't know what's going to happen 2 years from now. Just like in 2005, many of the homeowners had equity, and then 2 years later, they were, they were underwater. So what, as a real estate agent, how do you address this issue, Fabiola?
So, like Renee, I like to set the expectation and let people know the pros, the cons. I think it's good to always give people their options and let them make their decision based on their financial situation. So when someone comes to me and they say that, automatically for me, a trigger comes on. Okay, so you want to build a real estate, you're thinking about building a real estate portfolio for maybe passive income. Let's look at what that's going to look like. And first, can you pull the money out? If you do pull the money out, like if you put the money out, actually, I have a client that literally just pulled money out of a property that I sold her 5 years ago. And she's now, it's like, first she did it, she was excited. Now she's like, Fabi, I'm scared because the bank is about to give me all this money. And now I have to decide, okay, what am I going to do? And the first thing I have to say to her is, the first thing you need to make sure you do is you put that money where it's going to make you money. I'm not a financial advisor, but I told her, okay, you're going to pull the money out, you're going to fix your bathroom, and then the goal is to get another property. But if you're waiting to get another property, make sure that you put the money somewhere that, one, safe, and two, that's going to grow money. And then she asked me about an investment opportunity that was presented to her. And my advice was, remember, the higher the return, the higher the risk. So, and I tell people that all the time, you have all these things online, you see, oh, invest this and get this. The more that you're going to get back, the more you're risking your money, the more, so, and that's what I told her. It's like, I love that, she has a family and she's seen, when she bought her house for $150, she just got it appraised. It's worth like $300,000 now. So she was able to pull $100,000 out. And the goal is for her to get another house. But now she's sitting on all this fund and she's like, okay, I'm ready to go look. And, my number one advice is when you're looking at investment opportunities, not just in real estate, the higher the return, the higher the risk. And if a real estate portfolio is what you want to do, educate yourself. Think about where you're going to buy. And then if you're thinking about even being a real estate investor, then you have to take the emotion out in a way. And really work on the numbers. Do the numbers make sense? Yes. If they don't make sense, you don't buy that property, period.
Okay.
So that's what I tell people.
Yeah, but many times though, we have folks who are not able to work on the numbers. They just go on, with emotion, like folks are telling them, friends and others that they're seeing, seems like there's a market for investors. Because don't you all getting calls from investors? I want to buy your house for cash. I want to do this. I want to do that. So let me go back again to, because the topic tonight is your mortgage options matter. Can we, Renee, can we go back again to like the difference? Because I think the reason why I wanted to have this conversation again is because we do believe, based on the financial publications that I've been reading, that there is a recession looming. Economists everywhere are saying like it looks like there's going to be a trend down in the market. So because of that, we who are homeowners and those who are looking to purchase have to be very careful in where they put their, where they make that investment. So I know in 2008, for those of us who are old enough to have gotten into that market, then we realized that there were so many different creative financing out there. Banks, large institutions made a conscientious effort, a decision to offer those really bad loans to families, especially Black and brown families. So today, since you are in the industry, what are some of the loans that are available that will help someone purchase a home, and that person can hold on to that loan even in a down, if the market takes a turn for the worse? And if the market takes a turn for the worse, would they be able to get help from the mortgage company? How do you set yourself up so that not only do you get something that it's gonna last, but if there is an issue, you can go to that lender and get help? What are some of those loans for those who are looking to purchase today? The different options.
The first thing is, you want to sit with someone and you want to look at the numbers. You want to have them explain the numbers to you and how they work in relation to your income. You have to remember, when we do the numbers, we're doing it on gross income. You do not have gross income in your pocket. You got net. So there's a big difference between those two numbers.
Yeah.
And what I do is I have them look at it from two perspectives. What I'm seeing on gross and what they qualify for. And then I have them look at it based on net, what they're going to have left for other expenses. And if it's too much, then we have to look at the numbers and make it realistic so that they're comfortable. I always want them to be comfortable and to be looking ahead and planning ahead. I recommend that they look at first-time home buyer programs, because most programs are designed for the first-time home buyer. They're typically a 30-year fixed. There's always some kind of discount in the interest rate. And those programs, if you're buying in Boston, you might be eligible for assistance from the city of Boston to help you purchase that property. So that means you could get extra money for down payment, or you may get money for closing costs. So therefore, you're not spending all of your money and you have a little reserve left over. There is a new program that they will be rolling out this summer, which is going to be the exact same. You can get down payment or closing cost assistance. It's going to be a statewide program. If you buy in what they call gateway cities, you may qualify for up to $50,000 to be paired.
What are
gateway cities are, Mass Housing has a list of cities. So it would be like Boston, Brockton, it could be Lowell. There will be a list. And most of the lenders have already had the presentation, and we're just waiting for a date when it's going to roll out. And it's going to be inner city, 50,000, quite possibly for some people, or variation of. And if you buy outside the city of Boston, my understanding is the number could be as much as 35,000. Now you have to remember, it's going to be paired with their money as well. and it can be broken up to a part of it going toward down payment. So that would make your mortgage a little bit lower, and part of it can go to closing cost. Now, this money, from what I understand, is going to be grant money. The longer you stay in the house, you may not have to pay this money back.
So it's a forgivable loan.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Mhm. Yeah.
Now, from what I understand, you can also pair it with the money from the city of Boston. So you could possibly dip into two pots.
Wow. So again, we want to say that if you are in the area or wherever you are, if you're watching and you're looking to achieve that ultimate goal of homeownership, that it's so very important, right? Would we agree? The consensus here tonight is that you build a team around you, a team that really cares about you, a team that's looking to see you buy. You know, we were saying fine. That's with the mortgage real estate agent, the finance. That's with the broker, but also keep, because community is important. When you come and, you know, and purchase in a community, you're trying to build and be part of this community. And it's really sad when there's a where we have experiencing challenges in the economy. Many of the people ended up losing their homes are those who did not purchase correctly or did not purchase with conscientious people. Because we know that, going back again to what I was saying, I think my question maybe wasn't clear, that in terms of mortgage options, in 2008, we had so many creative financing, right? The subprime lenders and the interest-only lenders. And then we had people who were doing adjustable loans. And those loans, when they ballooned, many of those families couldn't get out of them because they were upside down. So
Yeah.
are we still doing these creative financings, or have we gone away from that?
Most lenders you will find are not doing those. Most banks and credit unions.
Mhm.
Every once in a while, I do get a customer that comes in with something that they got online. And that's why we emphasize in the classes, when you complete the class, do not go online.
Mhm.
You're given a list of lenders. They call it the City of Boston's participating lender list. There are 18 lenders there. We are all there to assist buyers. We want them to reach out to those lenders, have a conversation. I offer customers an opportunity to come to my office. We
Right.
want to talk about adjustable rate loans. We want to talk about fixed rates. We want to talk about the first time mortgage products that are available. And we also want to talk about, you know, some of the programs that you do want to stay away from there. You don't want to fall into a trap and you can't get yourself out.
Correct, the trap, you don't want to get. So as a mortgage broker, I'm not sure, do you have any other questions? Melissa, I would give you an opportunity to do that, because I have one question for Fabiola. So
Yeah, no.
Fabiola, the mortgage, going back again to folks are going online. They online and they're getting this email pre-approval. Of course, they didn't go to Renee, a local mortgage expert who could help them. They get this pre-approval, they've never interfaced with that person, and they're getting like this pre-approval and they're coming to you excited. I mean, what is your first reaction? What do you usually say to someone who is not following the advice that we are giving tonight and they're going online? Because again, you said earlier, you don't want to have a purchase and 6 months later, this person you're hiding from them. Because if they're losing their homes, you are gonna have to hide from them. What do you say to them if they're gonna go online versus going to someone like Renee?
So I would say, and I tell my clients this too, a lot of the creative, and I think people misunderstand it, like there's a lot going on, but when it comes to creative finances, I tell my buyers they're not for first-time home buyers. Certain loans, products are not for first-time home buyers. An interest-only loan is not for a first-time home buyer. It's for a flipper that's looking for a in and out. And some of these programs, I think people are misunderstanding. Oh, well, I saw this loan online. How come I can't get that type of loan? Someone like Renee is explaining it to you, but sometimes we don't listen. Or an agent is explaining it to you and you're sometimes people don't listen. It's important to know that depending on if you're a first-time home buyer, if you're buying a second home, certain loan products are not created with you in mind.
Correct.
And because of that, as you have to do your due diligence, like there's different loan products are geared towards different type of real estate transaction. And I think sometimes people have to take responsibility for themselves. If you're a first-time home buyer, what are you doing with an interest-only loan?
Right.
If you're a first-time home buyer, what are you doing with a balloon loan? And you know you're not gonna run into a large lump sum that is guaranteed. So, what I would tell the people that are going online, be responsible for yourself and do your due diligence on the loan product that is being offered to you. And does it even meet your scenario?
Yeah. And we're doing this show tonight because we know, unfortunately, not everybody is aware, not everybody is educated about the industry. And even those who have been in the industry could also be taken advantage of. Because as we know, my very last, or maybe the last question I'll ask, this is a very lucrative industry. Where there's money's exchanging hands, there's gonna be money to be made. And because it's a lucrative industry, there are some unscrupulous people who will position themselves to take advantage mostly of those who are the weakest among us. And typically the weakest among us are Black and brown families, those who are not highly educated, and families from the inner city. Because we realized that in 2008, many of the
immigrant families too, Gabrielle.
Yeah, exactly. Those who do not speak the language. Many
Yes.
of the families who ended up, we just took a journey here. The journey was, we started with the excitement of owning a home, right? The American dream. But that journey could end up with the American nightmare. How do we know? We've seen it and we've experienced it. American nightmare, when you have a situation where you did not take that journey with people who have integrity, folks who have your best interest in mind, what's gonna happen? You're gonna end up with a nightmare. And that nightmare could last for a decade or more, right? Because a financial crisis can last over a decade. It takes a lot because bankruptcy, so not only bankruptcy, but let's talk about it, my last question, foreclosure. How common is that? And you who's been in the industry Renee, for a long time, how many of your clients have you experienced that? And what are some of the reasons? Because there are some legit reasons why someone would go to a bankruptcy. And that's why next week, the week after, we're going to talk about life insurance. And someone dies and you didn't prepare properly and you couldn't work things out, that could be a reason. Or you get a divorce. But bankruptcy is not a common thing. But at the end of the day, we noticed that during the mortgage crisis of 2008 and 9, many of our families lost their homes and their biggest asset because of foreclosure. Foreclosure. So, and many of them had to file bankruptcy. Bankruptcy and foreclosure usually, work together. So, how common is foreclosure with your institution? And what should people know today so that they can avoid that at the end of their journey, that they don't have to be faced with that?
Well, first thing is our foreclosure, very small, very small.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to think because we do things right. I find, and this is just me and from what I've witnessed in my career, some of the lenders that I have worked for have always been smaller lenders.
Correct.
And if someone was in trouble, they will reach out to them, ask them to, explain what their situation is,
Correct.
maybe work something out with them so that they don't have to foreclose.
Correct.
Bigger institutions are not going to think about that.
Mhm.
They're going to
They
stop.
never.
They're going to stop foreclosure proceedings in 3 months, and that's it. It's a done deal.
Correct.
Foreclosures can happen for a number of reasons. My fear is that we're going to start seeing some soon because of the COVID situation. And there were rental programs out there, and those programs are about to end. There are other programs that if people are behind in their mortgage payment for 3 months, they can apply and get money. But what happens after 3 months? The job market is very different, although they're saying that, there are a lot of people that, are back to work. I see help wanted signs everywhere.
Correct.
So there's some things that are going on out there that I think we're going to start seeing in the next few months.
Correct.
What I would say, if someone is behind in their mortgage right now, reach out to your lender, have the conversation with your lender. They are willing to work with you, but you have also got to be willing to work with them.
Correct.
Don't be afraid to make that phone call. And if you cannot make that phone call, there are nonprofits that you can go to, and they will help you make that phone call.
Yeah.
You don't have to be walking through this alone. You just have to reach out.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's very important, Lisa. I know you've had experience, like with homes and purchasing a home, and your parents have it. I mean, would you encourage families who are living especially in the Boston area, to reach out to nonprofit organization? I know a number of them where they could build community so that in case, because it will happen. We always said that, if you are flying from here to New York or going to Miami, everything is fine if you have a pilot who knows his stuff, right? But you need a pilot who has the extra knowledge, and the pilot who can act under pressure if there's gonna be issues, right? A bad weather or something like that. So we need to educate families that, life can go smoothly, with the market going fine, but there will be time, like COVID-19, for example, happened. Unbeknownst to us, we woke up January of 2020, and then boom, 3 months later, less than 3 months later, families started experiencing financial hardships, and many of them couldn't pay rent. And I remember vividly people calling me, and I've had to pick up the phone and call with them, the banks, those banks, and also writing letters. But community engagement, I would say, if you're gonna build a house, if you're gonna own a home, you better know your community. Would you agree, Melissa?
I would definitely agree. I think there's one that comes to mind is Urban Edge, that was helping people during the time where people were losing their homes. And a lot of those programs, they spoke Spanish. They had someone that spoke Creole. Like, they make those things available. So if you're involved in the community, you'll know what's out there. And they've helped many people figure out where they're going. Or if you're not, speak to people. Don't be afraid, because someone else has probably have gone through it before in the past, and you'll get help. You'll get help. A lot of people are afraid to talk, but speak up, so that you can see who might know someone, if you ever reach into that problem, who can help you, and someone that's trusted. And then also, if you don't know something, make sure that you feel confident in whoever's working with you, like they're really working in your best interest, keeping that open mind, and staying connected and staying on top of it.
Correct. What about you, Fabi, before we leave here? Last word.
I would just say, look at all your options. And the number one thing, and Renee and Mel mentioned it, is to reach out. Before foreclosure happened, you could also short sale. And a lot of people don't know about that. And that's a way, and Renee could probably speak to this a little bit more, is short selling is when the bank agrees to sell you a house for less money than you owe on it, right?
Yep.
And that you recover from quicker than a foreclosure. And so there are options, but again, you have, and it goes back to your first time home buyer. You should be, I have people that I sold houses to 6, 7, I've been in the business 8 years, 6, 7, 8 years, that still call me when they have questions, or they're thinking about making a move, or, so if you create a strong team and you actually build a relationship with your realtor, your mortgage person, you should be able to call them and say, hey, this is happening. What do you suggest?
Yeah.
Or what can I do?
Definitely. We can go on and on here. This is a very important topic. I believe next week I'm going to have a lady here who's gonna be talking about some specific products from her nonprofit, Maha, which Renee introduced me to earlier today. And I'm gonna be excited. I'm excited about that because I know some of our viewers are first-time home buyers. But you know, again, home ownership is an American dream. I know for me, that's one of the goals that I wanted to reach, right? After having gone to school, getting an education, of course, I was getting tired of paying rent, and I knew about equity and assets and you know, things like that. So I said, you know what, I want equity. I want to build equity and asset. And I'm sure that's the reason why Lisa and all of you are homeowners. But you know, being a homeowner, that journey, getting the excitement is great, but we don't want the end result for you to be the nightmare of a foreclosure. That's why it's so important that you build a team with you that can help you, and not only a team but that can help you with the purchase, but a team that can hold your hands throughout the process, because you're going to need someone to hold your hands throughout the process. And when you have a difficult situation, you need to be with a mortgage company, a lender that will sit down with you and say, Gabrielle, how can I help you? Because I see your future and I see that you're important to this community, and I want you to stay in this community. Because nobody comes to a community and thinking, oh, 2 years later, I'm gonna leave. You come to build a community. You come to be part of your community. So definitely do it right. Do it right the first time. Don't get enticed by the, I call them vultures out there, those who are looking to just make money and those who are not interested in helping you build long-term. Homeownership is a long-term investment. So it's very important that you do it right and do it right the first time. So thank you, ladies, for being on the show tonight. I'm very excited that we will continue to have conversations about different financial products this month, because we know at Let's Talk Money with Friends, we want to educate, we want to encourage you to do it right. And also we want to encourage you to know that you're not alone. You have community, and you can reach out to us. You can reach out to each one of the members who are of this community, the Let's Talk Money community. Either if you're ready to buy a home, call Fabi. If you're ready to take a look at, you know, a pre-approval, call Renee. And also, if you need questions about anything, feel free to give us, send us an email or a message. We'll help you. Myself, Melissa, any one of us here will be willing to help you. Thank you again for your time. Stay tuned. Please like, share, and make a comment, because this show here, if you share with a friend who's thinking about buying a home and she does it right, you would have made a difference in her life. Make a difference in someone's life today. Thank you so much for your time.